Welcome to this short video that has some of the basics of yoga for back care. So we're going to do a short sequence starting off on all fours and then lying on the back. You're going to need a blanket and possibly something like a bolster or a couple of blocks, but this is optional, so you can decide if you need that as we go. Remember, no pain in anything that we do. Keep breathing, don't hold your breath. Just explore how the body feels. This is an introductory, starting, gentle practice. So there's no need to push through any discomfort or do anything that doesn't feel well. Okay, let's go. So we're going to start in child's pose. You might want to have the blanket under your knees. You might not, it's up to you. I've got a bit of padding here on the floor, so I don't need that. And so child's pose, we've got the feet and knees hip width apart with a little gap in between. And we're going to come down to kneeling and either putting one fist on top of the other and then the forehead down on the fists, or resting your forehead down on the bolster or the block. So you can decide what works best for your neck here. That's the point of having this here, is to just allow the neck to be nice and long and relaxed. And then also, if you find that your feet and your bottom aren't touching, then you might want to just put something here just to connect that gap up. It's up to you if you want to do that or not. And it's also up to you here. So you could instead just be resting like this. And this is the start of our practice then. Connecting with the breath, breathing in, noticing that you're breathing out. So tuning into how the body feels, tuning into the breath. The time of day will make a difference. What you've been doing before will also make a difference, so don't worry. But just allow yourself to tune into the here and now by tuning softly into that rising and falling breath. And perhaps 5, 6 to 10 breaths, so 1 or 2 minutes here. Just allowing the body to prepare for movement. Okay, and then starting to get ready, come up onto all fours, hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Pay attention not to let the back round like this. You want to lift that lower belly up towards the navel, so the back is longish. It doesn't have to be flat, but allow it to be long. And also just pay attention and check that your neck's not doing this. So we want the head to be long, the lower back to be long, okay? And then inhaling here. And as we exhale, traveling back towards our child's pose, inhaling forward and exhaling back. So tuning into the breath as you move, inhaling forward and exhaling back, starting to stretch and move the hands and the wrists and the armpits. Stretching through the sideways, stretching through your back. You could have your toes flat, you could tuck your toes under if that suits you better, you decide. Checking that as you come up, you're not letting that low back collapse. So nice and long, so we feel that we're lengthening into those tissues, good. And then coming up onto all fours. Remember, at any time here, you can rest in child's pose if your wrists need a rest, okay? Otherwise, back to all fours, and then tuning into the breath, let's circle. So we're inhaling forward and exhaling back. Imagine that you have a pencil in your belly button. You're drawing a circle on the floor here. It is not just a bum circle, it's the whole body. So you're oiling the hips, oiling the shoulders here with the breath. So slow it down. You can go all the way back if that suits you. You don't have to. Pain-free range, remember. And then in the opposite direction. These movements, just the fundamentals of yoga for back care. How to get the spine moving and all its connections in a really comfy way. Okay, back to child's pose. Again, if you prefer something under your forehead, whatever you can find. And then allowing the forehead to be supported either on your hands or your fists or whatever you've got. Allow your jaw to relax, breathe into your back. Softening through the out breath. And then very gently coming back up again. And let's move here again on all fours to washing the floor movement. Okay, so we're stretching, maybe stretching through the upper back. So look, you can either do this from low down and stretch one hand forward and stretch the other hand forward and draw it back, or a bit higher up, a bit more dynamic maybe. So what we're doing is reaching one hand, right hand towards the right top corner of your mat and back, left hand towards the left top corner of the mat and back. Nice and long through the back of the neck. So you're not doing this, don't need to look forward, you can look down, better to look down. And breathe out as you stretch. So when you're ready, if you haven't started already, if you go. Stretching, drawing back. Stretching, drawing back. Add the breath, it's more powerful, starts to engage the abdominal muscles. Stretching, inhale to come back. We're stretching through the hand, the armpit, the hand, the wrist, the elbow, the armpit, all the way to the mid-back. Really important for the health of the whole system, your neck, your back. Remember, you can rest at any time, don't overstrain. And then when you're ready, you might want to transition to going in the diagonal. So left hand towards the right top corner of your mat. Right hand towards the left top corner. Back of the neck still super long. Breathe out to stretch. Inhale back. Do this on the forearms. Might feel that you're working more of the body now, including the back and the pelvic. Very good. And then time to rest. 3 breaths in your child's pose. Let the breath be that factor that brings everything back to the center. Relax your wrists. Well done. And then pressing yourself up. And let's turn ourselves all the way around and come and lie on the back. So, want to have a blanket under the pelvis. Changes the angle of that low back very slightly to make everything a bit more comfortable. And possibly you might want something underneath your head. So I'll let you decide if that is what you need. Maybe another blanket, just to make sure that the head's not tipping backwards, that you can be right on the back of the skull. Okay, and again, the time of day might make a little difference here because the neck can be a bit more stiff in the morning. So I'll let you decide. Okay, from there, bring yourself, this is called effortless rest, knees bent, pelvis and back all nicely lined up, 100% comfortable. More blanket if you need it here underneath the pelvis. Oh, just allow your back to settle. And then let's take one foot up to the ceiling and the other one and circle into the ankles. If there's any pain, you can do one at a time. Circling one way, circling the other way. Don't hold your breath. And then pedaling the feet. Keep the knees quite bent here, gives you a little bit more room in the legs to just lengthen into these tissues. Good. And then give the legs a good shake, like a doggy paddle. Right, you can wobble the knees around, comfy, remember. Oh, then pop your feet on the floor. And then reach your arms up to the ceiling again, bend elbows and circle your wrists. One way and then the other. Working slowly. Might notice you yawning, that's okay. Letting out tension. And then wiggling your fingers. And then shaking your hands. Oh, maybe some ha breaths here while you do this. Relaxing the jaw, out breath, big sighs. Noisy if you want to. Ah. And then resting the hands onto the belly. From here then, slide your hands in behind your knees and invite your whole spine to go for a roll. So we're rolling across the back, but not just the low back, the whole back of the body, including the back of the skull. So the neck spine is moving with you, rolling from one side, rolling to the other. Might want to push off on your elbow. Might want to just go very small range, you decide. Little back massage. Don't hold your breath. That's probably the most important thing after not causing any more pain. Great. Just a few rounds. Remember, you can do these movements. You can do them in bed in the morning. Well, not the practice, but you might choose to just start the day with some of these rotating movements, getting things moving, oiling before you start your day. Good. Coming back to the center, popping the feet back onto the floor, and then reaching the hands up towards the ceiling and breathing in. And as you breathe out, going to reach the right hand up towards the ceiling and draw it back as you inhale. Exhale, left hand. Inhale, drawing it back. Exhale. Just as if you're kneading dough. Just a few rounds. You'll notice that your shoulder on the top arm lifts up. So we're rotating through the upper back. The low body's not moving, lower body's not moving. Just continuing the work that we started to move the shoulders, move the middle back. Good. And then back to the center. Inhale, open your arms nice and wide, as if you're holding a big beach ball. Exhale, bring your hands down onto your tummy. Relax your elbows down onto the ground. Walk your feet nearly as wide as the mat. So not over the edge, not touching, just a little wider than your hips. Breathe in. As you breathe out, let's take the knees to the right, just a few inches. Inhale back to the center. Exhale over to the left. Inhaling up and exhaling over. Just finding a little soft rhythm here with your breath. Inhaling to the center, exhaling to the side. As the knees rotate, keep the feet on the floor. This isn't about how low you go, it's about finding that rhythm. The spine is rotating here. The hips are moving. The belly muscles actually are joining in as well. The breath is slowing everything down. No pain. If your range of movement today is this much, it's fine. It's bigger, it's also fine. It's not the point. Point is the slowing down, rotation, soft sliding of the bones, the slowing down of the nervous system. Good. Gently drawing the legs back to the center and resting here. Breathing in and breathing out. If you notice that your body's moved and you need to realign yourself up a bit, do so. Then reach your hands up towards the ceiling, take hold of your elbows, breathe in, and as you breathe out, we're going to take the elbows to one side. So exactly the same movement, but just at the top of the body. This time, the legs and the belly stay still. Exhaling over, inhaling to the center. Once you get going, you might want your head and neck to travel with you, your choice. You're rolling through the upper back, rolling through the neck spine. Staying breathing. If you get lost with the breathing, don't worry, it doesn't matter, just don't hold your breath. It'll come in time with practice. You might start to notice your belly muscles working, the upper abdomen this time. And you know, once we get going with these movements, they're really delicious. They can be really lovely. So if you want to go for longer, please do. Okay. Inhale back to the center. Reach your arms up to the ceiling now. Stretch the backs of your shoulders. As you exhale, let's draw just for a few rounds. Going to draw the elbows down by your sides like a little robot and engage the elbows onto the floor. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, reach up. We're going to press down on the exhale, and it's more an engagement rather than a pressing. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. One more. Inhale, reaching up. Now, as you exhale, with these elbows tucked in, you're feeling the shoulder blades drawing onto the back, and perhaps just a sense of your upper back lifting off the ground. Maybe not your back lifting, that's too much. It's just going to be the clothes sort of not touching your body not touching your clothes anymore, if that makes sense. Just starting to a little back bend, very safe here. One more. Just to get the upper back moving, this real key between the lower back and the neck spine. Good. And then release. Well done. Give yourself a hug here and just rock your upper body just a couple of times from side to side. Well done. Nearly done. And then relax. Okay, from here, you can stay here, rest your hands on your belly and just watch your breath, or transition into any restorative yoga pose that suits you well. Okay, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.